This is a story called The Little Monsters, Chapter 48. The kids refuse to read aloud. The kids are having their English lesson and Mrs. Applejack is asking the kids one by one to read aloud. The first person she asks is Stumpy. Stampy, Stampy, will you please read pages 1 to 3? No, miss, I won't, said Stampy. Stampy, do as you were told, please. Stampy, do as you were told and read pages 1 to 3 aloud, please, said Mrs. Applejack. No, I won't, miss, said Stampy. Stampy, why won't you read aloud like I've asked you to? Asked Mrs. Applejack. Because I don't want to and I can't be bothered, miss, said Stampy. In that case, I want you to stay behind after class, please. Then she said, Stumpy, will you please read pages 1 to 3 of the book aloud? No, miss, I won't, said Stumpy. Excuse me. Stumpy, will you please do as you were told and read pages 1 to 3 aloud, said Mrs. Applejack. No, I won't, because I can't be bothered and I don't want to. Besides, why should I, said Stumpy. In that case, see me after class. Grumpy, will you please read pages 1 to 3 aloud, said Mrs. Applejack. No, miss, I won't. Ask someone else, said Grumpy. I'm asking you, Grumpy. Now do as you were told, please, said Mrs. Applejack. No, I won't, miss. Like I said, ask someone else, said Grumpy. In that case, Grumpy, see me after class. Bumpy, will you please read pages 1 to 3 aloud, said Mrs. Applejack. No, I won't, miss. Why don't you get someone else to do it or do it yourself, said Bumpy. I wouldn't be a teacher if I couldn't read, Bumpy, and I'm not the one who needs to practice my reading. You kids are the ones who need to practice. Now do as you were told, please, said Mrs. Applejack. No, miss, I won't. Do it yourself, said Bumpy. Right, see me after class, Bumpy. Creeper, will you please read pages 1 to 3 aloud, said Mrs. Applejack. No, miss, find someone else to do it. Besides, I can already read, so I don't need to practice, said Creeper. I'm asking you, Creeper, because you do need to practice your reading, said Mrs. Applejack. Well, I'm not doing it, so ask someone else, said Creeper. Well, in that case, see me after class, please. Kicker, please read pages 1 to 3 aloud, said Mrs. Applejack. No, miss, I won't. I don't want to and I can't be bothered, so ask someone else, said Kicker. I'm asking you, Kicker, so do as you were told, please, said Mrs. Applejack. Like I said, miss, no, I won't. I can't be bothered and I don't want to, said Kicker. In that case, you can also see me after class, said Mrs. Applejack. After class, Mrs. Applejack told the gang to stay put. When all the other kids went to play, she said, Right, you kids, I want each and every one of you to read 3 pages of the book I gave you aloud. Kicker, you can start by reading pages 1 to 3, please, said Mrs. Applejack. No, miss, I won't. I've already told you I don't want to read aloud and I can't be bothered, said Kicker. You'll do as you were told, Kicker. Now read pages 1 to 3 aloud, please, said Mrs. Applejack. I'm not doing it, miss. I don't see why I should, said Kicker. Then Bumpy said, The rest of us aren't doing it either, miss. Oh, that's right, is it, said Mrs. Applejack. Yes, it is, said Bumpy. In that case, I want you all to sit down and write. I must do as the teacher says, and I must not be disrespectful. 100 times, please, said Mrs. Applejack. The kids sat down, but they didn't write what they were told to write. They wrote what they chose to write. When Mrs. Applejack asked to see their papers, she couldn't believe what they'd written. She told them that they'd be staying in at lunchtime. However, when it came to lunchtime, the kids ate their lunch, but instead of going back to Mrs. Applejack, they went and played behind the school where no one would see them. When they went back inside after lunch, Mrs. Applejack asked them why they didn't report to her at lunchtime. Kicker said to her, "We didn't want to, miss." "Well, in that case you'll all stay behind and do a 2-hour detention," said Mrs. Applejack. "No, I won't, miss," said Kicker. "You will do as you are told, young lady," said Mrs. Applejack. At home time, Mrs. Applejack told the gang to stay where they were, but they decided to leave instead. The following day, Mrs. Applejack told them that they were to stay in at playtime and lunchtime. This time though, she made sure that they did just that. She got all the other kids to leave the classroom one at a time instead of all at once. When all the other kids had left the room, Mrs. Applejack made the gang write what they were supposed to write the day before. Thankfully they did. However, after playtime, Mrs. Applejack told the class that it was time for their English lesson again. Yet again she asked the gang to read for her. The first person she asked was Kicker. "Kicker, please read pages 1 to 3 of the book I gave you aloud." "No, I won't, miss," said Kicker. "Kicker, will you do as you were told, please?" said Mrs. Applejack. "No, miss, I won't. Ask someone else," said Kicker. "I'm asking you, Kicker," said Mrs. Applejack. "Well, that's just tough because I'm not doing it," said Kicker. "In that case, young lady, you will stay behind after school. Stumpy, please will you read pages 1 to 3 aloud," said Mrs. Applejack. "No, miss, I don't want to. Ask someone else," said Stumpy. "I'm asking you, Stumpy. Now do as you were told, young man," said Mrs. Applejack. "No, Mrs. Applejack, I won't," said Stumpy. "In that case, Stumpy, see me after class." "Creeper, will you please read pages 1 to 3 aloud," said Mrs. Applejack. "No, I will not. Ask someone else, miss," said Creeper. "I'm asking you, Creeper. Now do as you were told, please," said Mrs. Applejack. "Well, that's your problem, miss. I'm not doing it, so ask someone else," said Creeper. "In that case, young lady, see me after class." "Stampy, will you please read pages 1 to 3 aloud," said Mrs. Applejack. "No, miss, I won't. Ask someone else," said Stampy. "I'm asking you, so do as you were told, please," said Mrs. Applejack. "No, I won't, miss, so you can get stuffed," said Stampy. Just at that moment the headmistress came past and she heard what Stampy said. She asked Mrs. Applejack what was going on. When she told her, she said to the kids, "You kids better start doing as you are told. As for you, Stampy, apologise to your teacher for the way you just spoke to her." "No, I won't, because I'm not sorry," said Stampy. "Oh, really?" said Mrs. Tinker. "Yes, really," said Stampy. "Right, I want you and your friends to come to my office now," said Mrs. Tinker. When they all got to Mrs. Tinker's office, she said, "What on earth has got into you kids? It's so unlike you guys to be so disrespectful and disobedient." Then Kicker started to cry. "Wah, wah, wah." Then she said, "I'm sorry, Mrs. Tinker. It's all my fault. I can't read any more, miss. Wah, wah, wah." "What do you mean? You've always been a really good reader who loves to read," said Mrs. Tinker. "I can't see the words, miss," cried Kicker. "Wah, wah, wah." "It's okay, Kicker. It sounds to me that you need glasses." "I'll ring your parents and let them know," said Mrs. Tinker. Then she took them back to their classroom and explained to Mrs. Applejack why they wouldn't read, and they all apologised for their behaviour. The end. Thanks for watching, guys.